This is your host, Rachel Miller. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. I'm also apparently the hostess with the mostest for sober lifestyle festivities. And today's episode is steeped, get it? Steeped in elegance and relaxation as we talk about hosting a sober tea party. So this is something that I do several times a year, no matter the season, and I cannot take any credit for it. What got me into tea parties is a friend of mine who had her mom over for a tea party. And she sent me pictures of her table and all of the little petite teacups and the plates and the little tea sandwiches and pastries. And I immediately got so excited and wanted to do the same thing for my mom. So I ordered a tea set off of Amazon that is all petite and floral. And I Googled tea party traditions and how-tos, and I invited some ladies in my family over. So I invited my mom and my sister, and I think my niece also the first time, but I think she couldn't come the first time, but she has come since with her friends. So anyway, back up. So right out of the gate, it was super fun. And like I folded all the napkins into pretty shapes, and I set up the seats for each person, like their spots at the table. And we just like had some salon conversation and treats for a couple hours. It was so fun. And it just like it just felt special. So I have had several of these tea parties over the past year. And I thought it's time to share my secrets so that others can enjoy this really lovely sober activity, especially in light of Dry January. And in my Dry January episode from a few days ago, I mentioned that having a tea party is a good option for a sober activity. So I hosted a tea party yesterday. Was that yesterday? Gosh, it feels like it was 3 days ago. I hosted a tea party yesterday, and it was a real hit. So it was good for me to be around people. And the way that it happened was I actually had a friend of mine who reached out to me because she kind of wanted to get out of herself because she was struggling with some things. So she thought, I can help myself by reaching out and helping others. So she reached out to me, lucky me. And she said, well, how about I come over? We'll go for a walk. How about a tea party? So she had seen that I had posted some pictures of tea parties on Facebook. So she just suggested it, and I jumped right on that. So I said yes, and I would take care of everything, of course. So she, of course is like, well, can I bring anything? And so she offered to bring fruit. I'm like, yes, bring some fruit. It was amazing fruit, by the way. So you know how supportive my boyfriend is. So he went actually to the local Italian restaurant down the street that has an amazing little bakery where they produce all kinds of different Italian cookies. So he went there and picked up some Italian cookies, and then he went to this Persian store that's near us that we frequent because my boyfriend is Persian. And he bought some beautiful pastries from the Persian store as well. And so I have this 3-tier like display tray that, that you put treats on and stuff. So anyway, I'll talk about that, how I set up the tea party. But the ladies said yesterday that I should do a podcast on how to host a tea party. So here we are. So let's get started. So there's something special about a tea party. And my boyfriend was telling me last night, he's like, I don't get it. I'd rather be invited to someone's house for football and hot dogs. And what I've observed in my guests who come to these tea parties that I have, their body language and the conversation is that the tea party evokes this sense of grace and calm that makes everyone feel special and pampered, like royalty, because that's what we see. Especially, I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but as I'm watching The Crown, I'm a huge fan of the series The Crown. That's what you see. It's just so graceful and elegant and calm, no matter what drama is going on, in the background. And it really, from the host point of view, it's just not a big effort like a dinner party. It's just not. It's kind of like you can set it and forget it kind of thing, as opposed to a dinner party where there's really a lot of serving going on. So it's a gathering of women. In my case, I've always had women over. But of course, you can invite men if you wish, if there are men that are interested in it. Any people would be welcome, of course, if you so decide. And it's where simplicity meets sophistication. So all you really have to do as a guest is show up. And it seems like as a host, there's a lot less pressure to entertain people. I don't know why that is, but I just don't feel any pressure. It just kind of, the conversation just starts unfolding, whether everybody knows each other or not. And this time, this is the first time I've had people, that's not true. I was going to say this is the first time I've had people that don't know each other. But actually my boyfriend's mom and my mom met for the first time through one of my tea parties. So, but anyway, this one I had yesterday, there were, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 guests altogether, and 2 of them knew each other, and then 2 more knew each other, but they didn't all know each other. Anyway, so they just kind of started talking to each other, introducing themselves to each other, and then it just kind of unfolds on its own. And it was really fun. And even after, like, as we were kind of on the back end of the tea party, we started talking about vegan stuff, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna have them taste my vegan ice cream. So we went into the kitchen. We had a big vegan ice cream taste off, and of course, my homemade vegan ice cream won. So anyway, so let's first talk about the ambiance. Setting the scene with a beautifully dressed table. So you can't mess this up. Yesterday I had more of like a buffet style tea party. I usually have a sit down at the table tea party. Both worked well, so I think it just depends on how you want to do it. And I have 3 different tea sets, depending on my mood, if I want to get all my silver stuff out or if I want to get my gold colored stuff out, or if I want to be, it's fun, depending on my mood that day. So I have like a silver and glass set of teacups that I received from my boyfriend's mom that are beautiful. And then I have a blue and white floral fine china tea set that is the grandparents of my kids. And I have Amazon, my Amazon floral tea set. So here's what I have at my table. First, I set down the place setting for each chair that includes a teacup, a saucer, a spoon. I have these little spoons. With one of my sets, I have these little like porcelain spoons that go with it. They're super adorable, yes. But if you don't have those, you can put any kind of spoons, and then a fork, just in case. I put a fork out. Even though most of the snacks are all finger foods, just in case. Some people like to use a fork. And a cloth napkin. And so each party that I have, I fold the cloth napkin in a different design. And that's just part of my fun that I have. So I will go on to YouTube and listen to how to fold a new type of cloth napkin. I don't know. People have videos on it, all kinds of crazy things. So my favorite way that I folded a napkin so far is into roses. And if you look at my Facebook and find the pictures that I put of the tea displays, you'll see that I had one picture with the cloth napkin roses. So these little touches are what makes hosting the tea party super fun for me. So I always set some classical music in the background. I actually play classical music most of the time in the background when I'm doing things. This is something I started doing after I had my stroke, and definitely more frequently over the past 6 months. I usually have classical music playing. My dogs really like it, which shouldn't be surprising, I think. I don't know. They just kind of get into this Zen state when I put on classical music. And I find it also interrupts any self-talk, that it allows me to focus on the present moment and what's in front of me. And I guess it helps me practice mindfulness, is what that is. And at my tea parties, it really sets this tone for like a tranquil, easygoing afternoon with friends. So I just use my Bezos device. That's what we call it. I don't say her name unless I'm talking to her. So I use that, but I'm sure you could use your phone or your computer or whatever. So the cornerstone of any tea party is, of course, the tea. So I offer a variety of options. Yesterday, I offered an English breakfast tea, and my boyfriend went out and got 2 of those variety packs of different kinds of like herbal teas. So we had like 8 different herbal teas. And I have noticed in the tea parties I've had so far is that most people will go for the English tea, because I think it just makes them feel like they're really indulging in the traditional English vibe. But I display the teas in like a porcelain bowl or something that allows the guests to go through and choose their preferred brew really easily and not have to like sift through a pile of teas. Like, I want everything to be very effortless. So I accompany the teas with, I have these cute little, you can use any kind of little containers, because I was talking to my niece the other day, small things are cute, right? So little small bowls or whatever, and put a little bit of honey in one, some lemon slices in another, and then of course you've got your milk and sugar cubes, or cream and sugar cubes. I like to do cubes because it's just adorable. So I have realized, though, as I was getting ready for this podcast, that I forgot some of those options yesterday. So this is just proof that you can't screw this up. And I have a teapot that matches my teacups, but I have kind of started leaning towards just putting that out for decoration. And I tend to use my electric teapot for heating up the water and pouring it and everything because it's just easier, it's faster, and I find that it's a lot less chance of burning and spilling, which is important for this girl because if you can be burned or spill something, I'm gonna do it. So, for those that don't like tea, it's good to offer an alternative beverage. So, tea tends to, for me, make me thirsty. So, I always make sure that I have water, like a pitcher of water, and throw some cucumber slices in there. And that just kicks it up a notch. And what I did yesterday was I served homemade lemonade, and then I had like a half a lemon floating around in there, which makes it super elegant. And these are just like delightful, like fancy feeling alternatives that fit that elegant theme. And I like to put the alternative beverage in a glass pitcher because I don't know what it is, but there's something about a glass pitcher as opposed to a plastic pitcher. And I always have something floating in it, whether it's a lemon for the lemonade or cucumbers for the water. And it's kind of nice. I had a lot of hits on my lemonade yesterday, actually. All it is for every 24 ounces of water, I put one entire lemon's juice in there, and then a quarter cup of sugar. So it's a lot of sugar, but it's really good. And so, okay, so next is the food. And one thing that I learned, I don't know if I'm going to say this right because I didn't write it down, is that what I thought was high tea is not high tea. Like I thought that high tea was the one that's at noon, but it's actually the one that's at 5 o'clock. So it's like dinner. And I have to be careful because my neighbor is British, and I mean she lived there for a really long time. So I'm like, oh, I hope I don't mess this up. Anyway, she approved of my tea party yesterday, so that's that. I felt like that was success right there. So anyway, so the traditional tea party serves finger sandwiches which can be an array of fillings. So you can have like cucumbers and cream cheese, which is what I had yesterday. You can have egg salad, smoked salmon with cream cheese, chicken salad. Those are all classics. Yesterday I had 2 vegan options because I wanted to show that vegan is tasty. And it was kind of funny because people, as new guests would come, they would say to the guests, like guests that were already there would say, so these 2 sandwiches are vegan, but they're good. And the but like cracked me up. So I had cucumber and cream cheese sandwich, and the cream cheese was plant-based cream cheese, and it had lemon zest and dill mixed into it, and it was really good. And then the other sandwich was a chickpea and hearts of palm salad. So it's just like making a tuna fish salad, but you mush up chickpeas and dice up hearts of palm. And that was really tasty. I did not do that. That was my boyfriend who did that. So I know you all love my boyfriend. So you never know all of it was vegan. And I also made vegan blueberry scones. That's my first try at making scones. And they almost tasted like muffins to me. I feel like they were supposed to be harder, but they were delicious. And and then of course the cookies that my boyfriend had picked up. And I put all of this out on the cookies were all on the three-tiered serving tray, and then I had some other serving trays that I put the sandwiches on, and then the scones were on this other pretty, like, porcelain floral plate. So it all of your dishes don't have to match. Like, I think that's part of the charm. Um, is to have them not match. And I wouldn't have thought that except for my friend, the reason why I started doing teas. She had all of her stuff didn't match, and it made it even cuter to me that none of it matched. I was actually talking to my mom the other day about she said she went to a I think it was like an auction, and she said there were so many like little cute teacups there, and she thought of me. And I thought it would be really fun to have a whole set of non-matching floral teacups. So I might start collecting. We'll see. We'll see what I don't know if I have room for collecting anything. Okay, so for a touch of England, I went over the top, yes. I made vegan clotted cream. And it only took like 5 minutes, and it really like kicked things up a notch. It was the most amazing thing to me to watch this clotted cream turn into clotted cream. Like, I have been fascinated with all the baking that I've been doing, watching the chemical reaction and stuff of when you one thing is this clotted cream. Like, it starts out as this disgusting mixture, and the more that you just whip it, it turns into this beautiful fluffy cream. And then yeah, and I've had that happen with so many different things that I've been making lately. So that's part of the fun for me. Um, all of these things can be prepared well in advance, which means a lot less hustling around for me, especially with my challenging health conditions and vision and headaches and everything that I'm dealing with right now. And there's more time to just relax and soak in that calming environment. Like, I don't want to wake up the morning of the tea and be running around. So I try to do some preparation a couple days in advance. I didn't even plan this tea until like 3 days in advance. That was it. And I put together this cute little invitation that I texted to my friends, and that was it. We were off to the races. And again, like, I'll probably say this over and over, but my boyfriend played a huge role in making sure that I could have this tea yesterday. I couldn't have done it by myself, but I really enjoy taking the time to prepare for this kind of thing. It gave me something to look forward to. And honestly, like, I should have ended the episode with that, because that's really what it was all about for me. I needed something to look forward to. And it worked for me, and I'm so grateful for my friend reaching out to me to save herself, to help herself. She reached out to help me. And in doing so, we ended up getting lots of friends together. And I think it lifted all of us. And I think it's a great example of working the program that I talk about. So, all right, moving on. So the beauty of the tea party, as I've been talking about, is its relaxed pace. So there's no rush, there's no pressure. It's just good conversation and a chance to just bask in each other's company. And it's an opportunity for everyone, including me, to unwind and catch up and just enjoy just simply talking, just the stuff that we don't do a lot anymore. It seems like with all the digital stuff, like nobody had their phone in their hands or anything. We just all sat around with these little teacups and without a drop of alcohol in sight. And it's the type of party that it doesn't feel like alcohol is missing because alcohol doesn't even fit in to a tea party. It's just not a part of it traditionally. So it's comfortable. It doesn't feel like, okay, I'm having a sober party. It's a tea party. That's what it is. That's what it's always been. It's very cozy. Take my word for it. Try it out. So as the party winds down, you'll start like feeling, I think, the atmosphere change a little bit as everybody gets more and more comfortable, and there begins to have this genuine connection where they start knowing more about each other and finding similarities between them. And there's like, heartfelt laughter. You start hearing it gets a little louder, the mood gets a little lighter, I guess. And I feel like it's really the very essence of connecting with other people and healing things that maybe we didn't even know needed to be healed, just by being together. And it's a good reminder that the best times in my life are those that allow me to be fully present and enjoy the company of others, and to indulge in just simple things that make me feel loved and make me feel at peace with life as it is. It just gave me some relief, a little escape from, I get trapped up in my head, and I got to escape from there for a while and just enjoy people. So there you have it, a guide to hosting your very own tea party. And it doesn't take much to treat yourself and treat your friends to this kind of regal experience. And I do tend to go a little bit overboard in everything I do, but I just enjoy that, and it's part of the fun for me. But you can most definitely have a tea party without even a tea set, Get some coffee mugs out and go get a box of tea at the store. It doesn't have to be English tea. It can be any kind of tea, peppermint tea, like whatever you want. You don't even have to have tea, for goodness sakes. You can have lemonade, you can have Coke. But the point is the focus is on the conversation, The focus is on sitting together, looking at each other in the eyes. And you can have that kind of thing over coffee mugs and sugar cookies if you want. You can do it as low maintenance as you want. So for pictures of yesterday's tea party, jump over to Facebook or Instagram. I am at Rachel Miller Recovery Daily. And if you end up having a tea party, pretty please tag me and send me pictures, because I get a kick out of it. And I know I'm going to have another one soon. So thank you for joining me. I will talk to you tomorrow.